my name is Miss Pam, and I'm from Building Blocks Child Development Center here in Spencer, West Virginia, and I have a book to read to you and a project to do. Our book is called Papa, Please Get the Moon for Me, and it is written and illustrated by Eric Carl. Oh, hold on, I missed a page. Before Monica went to bed, she looked out of her window and saw the moon, and the moon looked so near. I wish I could play with the moon, thought Monica, and reached for it. But no matter how much she stretched, she could not touch the moon. Papa, said Monica to her father, please get the moon for me. And this book has lots of folded pages. So Papa got a very long ladder all the way from over there clear across 4 pages to over there. That is a very big ladder. This book kind of takes a minute to read sometimes because you gotta make sure you get everything folded back in so you don't tear it up. He carried the very long ladder towards a very high mountain. Look at that. It's way up there. Then Papa put the very long ladder, look at that, clear up there. Way up. Papa did a very long ladder on top of the very high mountain. Fold it back in gently. Oh, now look at this one. This one goes up. Oh my goodness, look at this. And down. How big it gets. Finally, Papa got to the moon. My daughter Monica would like to play with you, said Papa, but you are much too big. Every night I get a little smaller, said the moon. When I'm just the right size, you can take me with you. And look at Papa way down there. And look how big that moon is. The moon says he's going to get smaller every night. Let's see what happens. So we fold our pages back in gently. Oh. Now, this book takes a little while, but you just got to be careful with it. And indeed, the moon got smaller and smaller and smaller. And when the moon was just the right size, Papa took it down, down, down. He climbed all the way down the big long ladder and down the big tall mountain. Here, said Papa to Monica, I have, what? Look at that page. Here, said Papa to Monica, I have the moon for you. Monica jumped and danced with the moon. She hugged the moon and threw it into the air. But soon, the moon kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And finally, it disappeared altogether. See how big it was when Papa gave it to her? And it's getting smaller and smaller. Look how small it is right there. Until it was completely gone. Then one night, Monica saw a thin sliver of the moon reappear. And each night the moon grew and grew and grew. And there's the moon big again. And it's all the same size again. The end. Yeah. So our moon does that. Our moon changes every day. Every night. It's just a little different. Sometimes you can see the differences and sometimes you can't. But it happens. It happens every day. So what we are going to do is we are going to make a moon and then we're going to see what happens to it. Because like Monica said in her book, the moon gets smaller and smaller and smaller every day. So I have some paper here. I'm going to fold it in half. And the reason I'm going to fold it in half is because I want to cut 2 moons. So our scissors, thumbs in the little hole, fingers in the big hole. Cut, cut, cut. Open and shut. Squeeze, squeeze. And we're going to cut our moon. Now, if you look, I'm not exactly tracing it. I'm just kind of sort of cutting it out. So my moon might not be perfectly round. I'm hoping I get kind of there, not, well, I think we might have to go back through and cut a little bit of this moon off the side right there. Okay, we're getting there. Best thing you can do is have somebody help you trace one, and then trace it. But that's okay. Okay, if you don't have anything to trace, you just do what you can do. Sometimes you just have to use what you have. So now I have 2 moons. And we'll have the moon that we'll start with. And then we're going to have the moon that's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So every night in the sky, the moon starts out whole. On certain days of the month. Okay, it doesn't start out whole every night. It starts out on certain days. And we have a whole moon. Now if it looks like I got kind of some blue fingernails, that's because I was painting a little bit ago and, well, now I got blue fingernails. And some blue fingers. But, you know, that's okay. So, our moon is full. And it was in the night sky. And Monica said when she wanted the moon. And Papa climbed up the ladder. But it was just way too big for Papa to take. And the moon says, don't worry about it. Because every night I get a little bit smaller. So here's our moon. And I got, like I said, I got another moon I'm going to keep over here. We're not going to cut it. So every night the moon gets a little bit smaller. So when you look in the sky and you see the big full moon, and the next night you might not notice it, but that moon is not quite as big. It's just a little sliver of it gone. Okay? And the next night, you know what happens? Just another little sliver is gone. And you know what happened? Believe it or not, the next night, again, a smaller moon. So every night we get a little bit smaller. And this is called a waning moon. And we have a whole moon. And then now we have like a 3/4 moon. And then another piece of it's gone. And we only have half of a moon. And then it gets a little bit smaller. And a little smaller. Until we have something that's called a crescent moon. Oh, you know what I forgot? Let me scoot back up here. First we have the half moon. Okay, half of the moon. And then we lose a little bit more and a little bit more. We have the crescent moon. And then when Papa got the moon for her, it just kept getting to be a smaller crescent and a smaller crescent until there was nothing left at all. So now, you'll see I laid mine out here on the thing. So then, I laid them out for a reason here. Let me scoot them all over here to the side real quick. So then we have nights that when you look up in the sky, you don't see any moon at all. And that's because as the moon turns, we see the dark side of the moon. Okay? The dark side of the moon is not reflective like it's not in the sunshine. Okay? We only have a moon when the sun's shining on it. Okay? And when the sun moves, well then we don't see any reflection. Because the moon is like a giant mirror. So, we have nights that we don't see any moon at all. And then a couple nights later, guess what? You look up in the sky and there's a little teeny tiny piece of it. And then the next night, guess what? It's a little bigger. And then it gets a little bigger until, look what we have again. We have our crescent moon again. And it gets a little bit bigger. And a little bit bigger until we have our half moon again. And then we get a little bit bigger until we have our 3/4 moon. And then a little bit bigger. And then a little bit bigger until we have our full moon again. And then guess what? It happens all again. Goes out and it gets smaller again. So, and those are called the cycles of the moon. Okay? Every cycle of the moon is a little different. We have called wanings and waxings. Waning is when it's getting smaller, and waxing is when it's getting bigger. And then the moon goes through all of these changes. And unless you go out and you look at the moon every single night, you may not see the different changes in the moon. But the moon actually changes. And it does it every night. Now, like I said, the sun, I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to give us a piece of paper. Got my markers. The sun is that big, that thing in the sky, that big yellow thing in the sky. The sun is right in the middle of our solar system. It is right there. And then Earth, our little blue planet that we live on, is over here. Okay? Because our planet is called the blue planet because we are nice and blue and we have lots of water and green. And then our moon stays right with us. Okay? And it stays right with us. And we go on a great big circle around the sun. Over and over again. It takes us one whole year to go all the way around that sun. So, and our little moon, he's our friend. He stays right with us. It would be fun to play with the moon if we could play with the moon, good, wouldn't it? Now we could just climb up there and get that moon. But, now wait a minute. If we climbed up there and got the moon, what would happen if somebody else needed it? What if they needed to see? Well, they need a little bit of moonlight to see at night. I think we better leave it where it's at. So, all right, well, that's it for me today. I hope you had fun, and I hope you learned a little bit about our moon and then the sun and how it's a great big mirror and it reflects the sun's light down to us. And oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you, this moon does other important things too. Have you ever been to the beach and the waves come in, and then you go to the beach and the water's way down there, and you come up later and it's clear up further onto the beach? That's the moon working. The moon makes the tides pull in. And moon helps us with our gravity too. That's a pretty cool thing to have. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.